Hello there, my name is Rachel. The first time I see my channel, usually review cartoon series, anime series, so something, computer random, and today we talk about Birdgirl, Season 1. Now, this series was sort of catch about surprised by everyone because nobody really expected to have a spin-off series of the original Birdman Harmony All Along, and nobody really wanted one in other words, but we have it now. Now the question is sort of series worth watching? Yes and no. You have to get to the no part first because one thing that everybody was expecting this series to be is funny. I mean, something as equal than the original, but people forget it's not the same show. It's a spin-off series, so it kind of makes sense. It's not going to be the same thing or same comedy or even the same writers at all. So that's why I feel people were sort of expecting way too much of the series to be funny. Besides that, they trade up to be comedy to be actually more kind of character study because you see how Birdgirl and her team sort of works, especially their sort of psychological problems made up sort of a image of horror. I mean, this show is baked in horror because every time one of the characters show who they actually are, how they act, they have this sort of necessity show this sort of dark kind of image about why they act this way, almost kind of like a horror feeling, and they were always trying to do that each episode, almost kind of creepily following the corner, showing this dark omen of the character, understanding why they actually act that way. And that is so interesting. That's the reason why I got really interesting in the series because it really got me into investing in this show. Of course, there is that major problem I said at the very beginning, that is the comedy doesn't really work all the time. I mean, most of the episodes try to be funny, and sometimes they landed. Most of the time, they just sort of failed the joke. I think one of the biggest examples is Birdgirl asking her assistant or her secretary a drink. Give me anything, just give me something to drink. And her secretary sort of panicked and froze for a few seconds because she never had that freedom of choice. Okay, you gotta set up the joke. What you gonna do next? Well, she runs away, goes straight to Japan to get the perfect tea. Dated a Japanese man to teach him how to do tea, and came back and gave her the perfect tea for the perfect boss. The only problem is the Birdgirl, the last second, she says, you know what, I want coffee instead. And you just see her expression that like, what? I mean, I did this, I flew to Japan to get the perfect tea. And that sort of reaction could have worked, should have worked. The only problem is the joke was sort of stretched out too much. The point you waited too long to land the joke sort of stopped because I've stopped caring. So that's the problem with some of the jokes because they don't have perfect timing. Other times they do land the joke perfectly, like one the chairman, this one the eldest of their group, this dog character who getting paid for his work, though instead they pay him with doggy biscuits. And the chairman just look at them and just like, what's this? I mean, this is doggy biscuit. I know the doggy biscuit. Where's my check? I need to pay my rent. And they keep messing with the chairman, giving the doggy biscuits till the chairman, yeah, what, screw it, give me the goddamn biscuit, give me my check, and I'm living through here. And that actually was really funny because it was really quick, really straight to the point. And that's why, you see, they do know how to do jokes. This is that they're not yet know how to land it correctly. There's some that take too long, sometimes it's too fast, but at the end, they get there. Not all the time, but they get there. But luckily, they focus on mostly the drama, mostly the character study. Also, part of it also focus on the business side, what 7-7 really is, what they do, and how a Birdgirl sort of handle everything what their father lived to her, like how to run the business, also be the CEO of the whole company. Everybody's judging her decisions could be completely wrong because she's not yet fully experienced. He also, the top of everything, they also focus on the politics on the store, and that is sort of interesting to see how she navigates everything. Before I forget, they also focus on feminism. They trying to question why people judge a woman being in charge of everything, and his father was a man. He never judged him. They actually called that out. He easily said, "Oh no, that's because they don't respect you. It's because everybody's scared of your father. It's because he's crazy. You are kind of crazy, but we're still judging you because you're not that level of crazy because you're gonna kill us or anything." And that is sort of interesting because they do point that out a lot of different ways, like how people judging Birdgirl to remove a sort of item in the company and everybody judging her. Everybody think, oh, it's a guy. It has to be a guy. I mean, duh, only guys do that. But no, they show you it's not a guy. It's a woman because she liked the product. Why you take it away? And that is interesting because it sort of makes this fun of kind of feminine ideals that it does work. There are things do happen in the office. Male and female things just happen, but at the same time, some the call like, oh, it's all guy's fault. And actually, it doesn't really matter. It's a guy or a girl. It's just a person doesn't like the change or like this, and that's why I quite enjoy because they do call all the BS stuff that other people online talk about, but they just focus on that. Focus on multiple things, especially a character of development and character focus of Birdgirl. Like she has her issues that she found out being lied to so much by her father, trying to get his attention, trying to run the company, prove everybody she can actually control the company. She knows what she's doing, and she's freaking out, becoming more kind of unstable some episodes. But at the same time, you have her best friend and right-hand man there that you think she has the one who has common sense, the one who bans everything. But no, Mare has her moments, but at the same time, you kind of show her psychological own issues that she has sort of connections, like she must be right all the time, but she's not right. She freaks out, and Betty does something questionable, like she dated one of the co-workers on the 7-7 that is Brian, that she constantly erases her memory because they one night stand over and over again because she cannot deal a relationship. At the same time, you can erase his memory. Why not erase it completely and get it over with? At the same time, she can't. She's sort of struggling. What I'm doing is right or wrong, or I'm thinking it, and that is interesting, especially how they kind of describe or show her psychic ability, almost like a internet access. You have to ask permission. She had to read documents just to go and pass your mind. It's not that she really doesn't. She's trying to trick a person just to go straight to her mind without their permission, but yes or no, kind of like question marks, kind of like contracts kind of feeling, and that is sort of fascinating how they show that in this show. You have all the characters like Brian, that he is sort of broken because he did kill someone. He feels guilty and trying to give all the money to their person who killed their wives or husbands. But at the same time, he's very complicated, also very simple. Once more, that's why the strength of this series is more kind of study the characters. And I think one of the best characters, or at least the most interesting one, is Charlie. To describe her or her job, she basically is the person who talks to people who have problem with the company. She's the not the secretary. She's basically the HR now, words, the one who talks to people who have problems with other clients or something like that. But she worked so long in this company, she did very questionable things. The point she became the head man of the company, that the father of Birdgirl told her to do very horrible things like kill animals just because they bother him, or kill someone who tried to take the company. But at the same time, she became this sort of monster she really likes to become, that sort of unhinged, and she knows it, she doesn't like it, but at the same time, she appreciates it. She's sort of really complicated, interesting character, but at the same time, you don't go deep balls in her psychological issues. You have little snippets here and there. Even talking to people, she's sort of unhinged, and that's sort of disturbing and freaky. And they point that as a joke in the running of the 6-episode series, that yeah, she has some issues. Also have Paul, the guy who give her massages because that's what she's so point. He just relaxes people, but the only problem is Paul talks too much. Paul is just over the place. Paul is a guy you just don't want to talk to because he just won't stop talking, but at the same time, the reason he doesn't stop talking because his father left him as a boy. That's what he has to need and never stop talking. Hopefully, you never walk away of him ever again. And that is sort of kind of interesting. You also have partly our final character, Gideon, the secretary, to describe her, especially describing Pan from Archer. She is very similar to her, but I mean similar to like season 1. She is sort of abrasive, trying to protect Birdgirl, her secrets, trying to be always right at her side wherever she needs it, but at the same time she breaks down all crazy. But once more, she kind of reminds me a little bit of Pam. It's almost before Pam became Pam, what that gaming really is. After that, that's at least most of the characters. They have many others, but I'm gonna stop here because this video became way too long. Now I have to say maybe one more thing is the horror aspect, and that is probably the most interesting things they do with it. They actually focus on a lot of the trauma manifested almost like a horror. Like the secretary, I mean, she tried to be everywhere, always tried to be right next to Birdgirl, but she couldn't. So how to describe it to be everywhere not is becoming this sort of monster, becoming 3 people, like 3-headed creature. And that is interesting to describe how tired she is, how dedicated she is. At the same time, she needs to stop before she actually kill herself, overwork herself, or anything horrible happen to her. Now, that's why I really enjoy it. They always trying to show you what they're feeling, what their problems, and they just deep dive into it. There actually is an episode they actually like a haunting house or this time a haunting building, show each character their problems, but focusing almost like a mirror image horror of their identity. And that is just fascinating. I mean, that's the reason why I enjoy it. Not completely, but I do enjoy it. Now, I can't really anything bad because I already told you about the comedy. But I have one question before I end this video. Do you enjoy this series? Do you really hate it because of the comedy? Tell me down below, let me know. I got really nothing else to say, just thank you for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and have a wonderful day. Bye.